Well, joining us this morning is Mr. Todd Crago from the OC&T Railroad in Titusville. Todd, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing well.
Doing
well.
You look great. You look like you've been busy and...
Yes. Yeah. Well, of course, we're getting a little bit more sun, so it's adding more color now too. So
temperatures, they just gotta.
Yeah, the temperatures need to come up a little bit more.
Well, it's been a busy month. With the last, actually, when you look at the last couple months, just getting ready for the season, and then you had some special events around Easter, and you got Mother's Day coming up. So there's really a lot happening.
Yeah. The Easter train was a success. We sold out, and everybody showed up. They had a good time. It was a little wet to start with in the day, but even a rainy day is a fun day for a train ride. So
yeah. Actually, it's great because you can just sit back and relax and enjoy the scenery. And this is that time of year, we were talking earlier, this is that time of year where, again, you can get different looks just going through the park, and you can actually see a little bit further out.
Yeah, there's not so much, the leaves aren't so heavy right now. And this time of year, of course, the fawns are starting to come. So, it's not odd to go down through and see a fawn hidden in the brush, just waiting for its mother to come back.
Do you kind of keep track of just the different animals you see?
Yeah, I follow that. I
like a bingo card, right?
Exactly. You can trace the animals you see by the seasons and everything. It's
that's great. Well, you're coming into like a really busy season, as we said. Mother's Day's coming up. You got school tours. Regular season, all the special events.
Yeah, so Mother's Day, of course, we have our Mother's Day train, and there's still seats available for that. I know our Peter Cottontail train sold out way ahead of time, but we do still have seats available for Mother's Day. And then before that, on May 5th, is it May 5th? Nope, May 3rd.
Close.
Got it right here in front of me. May 3rd, we do have a wine train with Broken Straw Winery out of Youngsville, PA. So that'll be our next up run, I guess you could say. Then Mother's Day, then, like you said, the school tours. We have 4 of those this year. And then we'll wrap up the month with another wine train with, we have a murder mystery train, but that, of course, is sold out, as they do.
I just call you Sold Out Todd.
Well, people know what they want, I guess. They watch for the calendar to drop the schedule, and they're on their phone making their reservations. Now, our June murder mystery train is available. We haven't sold that out yet.
I had somebody say to me one time, they said, I thought that was like a sales gimmick when you guys talk about, events being sold out. So I called because I wanted to take part in an event, and they were sold out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So part of the thing, I guess, when you hear about this stuff, if it sounds interesting to you, you jump on it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to wait. Our tickets are non-refundable, but they can be used at different times. If you make reservations and something happens, you can't make it, you call us, and the tickets are still usable, just at a future date. It's not like they expire right then.
I would imagine they'd make great gifts too.
Yes.
If you wanted to give somebody a gift of one of the events or just the regular run,
Yeah, exactly. We have people do that throughout the year for birthday gifts and things like that. They'll buy a pack of tickets, and either for an event or multiple tickets to be used throughout the season on the regular runs.
I don't know how often we talk about the corporate side of it. I know we do. Seems like off the air, we'll have conversations about it. But there are corporate opportunities. Companies will take their employees to a Seawolves game or to another event. Well, there's opportunities with the OC&T Railroad to host corporate events.
Yes, we can, we can do the train rides. We have companies that will rent a car so that they can, have their own company gathering within one of the rail cars during one of the regular runs. There is opportunities, as long as the schedule permits, they can actually charter the whole train and just do their own private train ride. We had a church do that last year for Christmas. They chartered the whole train so that they could do our Christmas celebration in a different atmosphere, I guess you could say.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. They had like violin players and guitar players, and they'd go through the cars playing and singing Christmas carols, and just made a real good time of it.
That's excellent. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, they just need, if somebody's interested in doing that, they call and have that conversation with
call
the
the
office?
office, have the conversation. Car rental depends, of course, on how big a crowd we have, and we like to know ahead of time that somebody wants to do that, so we can plan accordingly when we're selling tickets. And then, of course, if you want to charter the train, that definitely falls around our scheduling. We have to make sure it takes a few months to make that happen. You just can't call up and do it a week later. It takes a little bit of planning to make that one work.
You also you get a lot of folks who will come up and visit journalists, people that promote events in Pennsylvania or our region. So it's interesting to see where information pops up about the OC&T Railroad. Like I think you guys shared an article from somebody that like Pittsburgh area.
Yes.
Like travel people that will write articles, and they have such a great time here.
Yeah. Yes. They. I remember the lady that did that when she had come last year. She wrote a great article, and within a week of her posting it, people were calling from the Pittsburgh area to come up and ride and take a ride with us. So it's amazing how that stuff gets out there. And if people are wanting to come and write about the train, by all means, let us know. We'll give you a little bit extra to add to the story.
Todd will be a little extra nicer.
I might.
That ride,
yes,
yeah.
I might even do something fun.
The yelling and the shouting kind of goes away. And,
exactly.
So a lot of people came to the area for the total solar eclipse.
Yes.
And it was amazing just talking to some folks from out of town who said, well, I think we're going to come back. We didn't realize there's a museum and there's a train and there's this and there's that. So that's great to, an event like that brings in folks who look around and go, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we're one of those fun little secrets that are in northwestern PA. They can.
Well, the other aspect to it, the Caboose Motel, like that's such a unique experience.
Yeah. There's not very many places there's no place in this immediate area where you can actually go and stay in a caboose. Now, there's places you can, if you want to travel 6-7 hours away, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like Stroudsburg, I think has.
Yeah, Stroudsburg. Down in West Virginia, there's a few places. But yeah, here in Titusville, those cabooses, they're a great draw. And even if you're not riding the train, again, going back to the corporate side, you have company. You may have workers coming into the area for temporary basis, and they need a place to stay. The caboose is just as good an option as anything else. It's not just for tourists.
It's funny because I'll hear conversations. One side will be, hey, what's going on this weekend? Because we wanted to stay at the Caboose Motel, but they're all sold out because of something going on with the train. Or you'll hear, hey, we're coming up to ride the train, but we can't stay at the Caboose Motel because there's something else. I mean, all the rooms are taken because there's something going on in the community or whatever. But
yeah, that's the one. The one downfall is, it's a limited commodity. There's only 21 of them, so.
And people don't want to sleep on the train like you do because you're there like 24/7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It takes a special person who wants to actually sleep on the train.
But you do a good job.
I do a real good job sleeping on the train. Yeah.
You ever doze off? I mean, I'm not saying during work. I'm just saying like after a really long day. You just
yeah. There are days, especially in the fall when we're doing our back-to-backs. I've been known to, in between the first run, second run, I've been known to find a quiet spot in the train and just close my eyes for a few minutes and.
I want a picture of that.
Recharge.
As you get ready for a busy summer season, status of volunteers. Do you need a lot of volunteers this time of year, or does it sound like everything's covered?
Yeah, we'll need more volunteers. We can always use more that way. I mean, we have our dedicated volunteers that are here for everything and do everything, and it'd be nice. I like them to volunteer because they enjoy doing it. I don't want them to feel like it's a job. So, if we have more volunteers, we can spread the workload out a little bit.
And Do the jobs vary much with volunteers?
Yeah, there's you can do maintenance. There's stuff to do around the station, help with when the museum and the gift shop open up, or in the concessions area, and of course on the train itself. Car hosts or people just moving about the train, making sure that the customers are getting what they need.
So if you like people, if you like talking to varieties of people, this would be a great thing to
exactly.
get involved with.
And I think I said before that this type of volunteer work is great for school teachers who have a lean towards history. When school's out, they can come on the train and do some historical talking to the passengers about the oil region and things like that.
You mentioned Murder Mystery Dinner on May 11th, already sold out.
Already sold out.
Should mention the July date for this is already...
I didn't even look at it. Is that one sold out?
Well, it's crossed out.
Okay. Changed, probably.
Oh, change?
That'd be a change, yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, there's other... I think you said you guys added some
I think
events?
we're at 12 this year. 10 or 12, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's the demand, right?
That's, as long as people want them, we will keep bringing them, yes.
And that's kind of neat because you get actors from all over the place.
Well, the actors are actually from Erie. It's the same comedy troupe, but they do bring in multiple shows. So, you could actually see, I think there's 4 different murder mysteries this season. Depending on the train ride, you could see a different show each time you come.
What does that, how does that vary from the other runs that you're involved with when you're doing like a murder mystery? Is it more relaxing for you?
Yeah, it is more relaxing for me. First off, we're limiting it to a certain number of people. We only use 2 cars during that run. They've already had dinner, so the catering service takes care of the dinner for us. So my job is get them on the train, make sure the safety things are going on, and then I will float in between the cars. When the actors aren't in the car, I'll go in and just see if anybody needs anything, if there's a problem. We don't open up our snack shop to full service. We may go into the cars if it's hot to sell drinks and things like that, so people don't have to get up. Because the actors are performing, we don't want the people up moving about the train because they'll miss part of the show if they're not in their seats.
Yeah, and you don't have to be saying, okay, back in 18, blah blah blah.
No, I don't have to do that.
Right. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel. We're here with Todd Crago from the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. Well, let's kind of get into some of the specifics of this busy season that we're coming upon. You mentioned Mother's Day. You mentioned Murder Mystery. It's got to be fun seeing the kids come in for the school tours.
Yeah, the school tours are a lot of fun. You get a different energy with those kids. Usually by the time we get to them, they've already done the tour at Drake Well, and we're picking them up at the platform at Drake Well. So they've already got a bunch of history loaded into them, and they've walked off some energy, but they're still a good time.
I remember some times on there where
there's a lot of laughing and it's fun. It really is. I enjoy seeing the kids come on and do that, and some of them want to know about a little bit more about the history than what they've learned at Drake Well, so we will entertain them with that as well.
I'm sure you've heard chaperones say to you like, "Oh yeah, I always volunteer for this because this is a good time."
Yes, there are a few schools that the chaperones are. You'll see them year after year. They're the ones that they could probably do our job too if they wanted to.
I actually don't have any kids. I just like riding the train.
Exactly. There you go.
But that's kind of cool, and I'm sure you hear years. Well, you're young, but a couple years later, maybe those kids return and ride and.
Yeah, and I see that now with even older people that, people in their 30s and 40s come in and say, oh, yeah, we did this in high school, or we did this in junior high, and we wanted to come back. And so even though they don't, it might take 10 or 15 years, they still come back to us again.
So school tours taking place, and then you get into the summer months. You get into June. What starts to happen in June, July, and August?
Our regular season starts in June. June 10th is our regular run. Of course, we'll have our Father's Day train. Another wine train. June 10th is the opening day for our regular runs. And then in June, we'll do Saturdays and Sundays. Then in July, we'll do Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. In the first part of August, we'll do the same thing for our regular runs. And then we'll go back to just our weekend runs towards the end of August. During that time, we've got, like I said, wine trains. We'll have Christmas in July, and then a tiki train, or like a Hawaiian train type thing.
You and the rest of the crew, it's not like these things just happen. You don't talk about the tiki train like the month before.
No.
These are conversations you've had
Last
previous year, right?
Last year, yes. Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at the calendar. I think it was in June of last year, and we already had probably half a dozen dates marked up for this year that we were able to secure things and lock stuff in, so we were able to move it along a little earlier. And the sooner we get started, of course, the sooner we get things fall into place.
And there's, again, sort of that demand for that, because you have people that are buying out, your Easter run, in January, February.
Exactly. And like our wine trains, those wineries are going to these different events throughout the summer. So we want to lock those dates in early, so they know that if they're available, if they can plan around us, or if they have to, pass up us and go to another event.
So what kind of impact does the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad have with riders who get done? They move, they had a great time. Well, this was posted just the other day, and this is really cool. Over 30,000 followers on the Facebook page.
For us.
For you.
Yes. Yeah,
Over 30,000. I think, first of all, people would be amazed in a good way the number of visitors who ride the train every year.
Yes, yeah.
It's a lot.
We're over 20,000 each year. And what people sometimes don't see is you'll have people traveling through the area on the weekdays that they're not here to ride the train. They just stop in to take photos, and they're train fans, so they want to take pictures of our engines or of our cars, things like that. We don't even see them, but we know they're there. They'll make comments later and stuff like that. But so during the week, even, you'll have people coming in from out of the area, and again, they're staying for lunch, or dinner, depending on what time of day.
It doesn't necessarily surprise me, because I've had these conversations with our friends over at Drake Well, where somebody will come into the museum during the week,
right?
And they'll be asked, "Hey, where are you from?" "Oh, we were just traveling nearby, and we've always wanted to stop." Nearby could be 80, could be below Pittsburgh, and they're like, "Hey, we'll make a couple hour side trip." And
yep.
So yeah, it's surprising and not surprising when you have folks who are stopping during the week and taking pictures.
Yeah,
and getting information, I would imagine.
Exactly. That they get the photos. Some make plans to come back. Some, just show the photos to their friends, and then their friends say, "Hey, we need to come up and try this out too."
So the normal. It is so weird to say this, because you're so busy now. It just feels like the season's already started. But
yes.
The normal season kicks off in June, as you said.
June 10th. Yeah.
Yeah. Then is it increased rides in July?
Yes. Yeah. We'll add the Wednesday ride in July, and that's an interesting ride too for folks. It's a little bit extra, because when they get down to our Rin Farm station where we do our turnaround, the Coal Oil Johnny House is usually open for tours, so you get to go in and check that out as well.
Talk about the recreational opportunities that tie in with the train. If you kayak, if you bike, there's some cool things that you can do.
Yeah. So if you kayak or bike, you can take the kayak down Oil Creek, or ride the bike to Petroleum Center. The train will pick you up and bring your kayak and bike back up to the station, back up to Drake Well, or back up to Titusville, wherever you started from. We have a lot of people that take advantage of that. Last year, I think one day we had 12 kayaks on the train.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a nice crowd.
So if you're planning a vacation, there's a lot of really cool things you can kind of set up or figure out and take advantage of.
Yes.
Do a lot of people mail things from the train?
Yes, we do. We do a lot of postcards out of the train, and actually, some people bring their letters. They'll bring letters and birthday cards and things like that, just to mail it from the train. And of course, we have our own OC&T postage cancellation. We're still considered a post office, so
wow,
we have our own cancellation, and it's a big draw. That's very popular, especially with the kids.
Maybe I should ride and mail something to the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum in Stroudsburg, just so that they know that, because I've told you about that exhibit before.
Yes. So. And actually, one of our postcards is a picture of our railway post office car, too.
Oh, see? Send something to them. Say, hey, just check this. Todd, if folks have questions, want more information, how do they get hold of the OC&T Railroad?
Of course, they can check out our website, ocntrr.org, or call our office Monday through Friday. We usually open up about 9 a.m.
Good to see you.
And good to see you, too. Thank you.